Folks, I'll be sharing my techniques and this technology at these upcoming spaces. Sure hope to meet you there. Good morning, everyone. Today's Thursday. It is November the 8th, and this is the futures in 5. We can see that we've got a little bit of a topping formation. If we take a look at the 4-hour edge, notice my system really is telling me, hey, listen, we've got a topping formation with these arrows that show up. And now we are looking at this particular area, and I don't see any arrows. So pullbacks, likely to be buy zones. Should we have pullbacks? Yeah, we should. Look at how thin the volume action is here. We could easily come back into the volume profile events and stage some kind of bounce. Notice we've got price acceptance here at 83 and then price rejection here at 72, 2772, 2771. Something like that gives us our motion event. This is an ABCD, alternate ABCD pattern, and that is giving us projections all the way up here to 2862. That, as you know, is part of the very big motion on the upside. Here's another tool. This is actually a bat. No, this would be a crab, excuse me. Um, and this gives us projections even higher than that. So there are a lot of things giving us further upshot. My supposition the entire time has said, hey, listen, we could bounce all the way into 2912 without breaking our breakdown pattern, which has been very, very significant. This relief bounce could take us all the way up here. Nothing really telling us that we're out of the woods in terms of a deeper motion down, but certainly quite a bit saying, listen, as the chart bounces, it's got room to run. So what do we want to see? We want to see pullbacks that hold. You know what? 2797 ought to hold pretty well in that space. If not, it'll stair step down in 2783. Let's take a look at the NQ, same sort of pattern. Deep edge downward, thin volume profile event right here. It is bouncing off of our 7165 area. That's going to be the region. If we come into there and we bounce, going to be a long. If we cannot get ourselves back up and over 7194, this chart has more downside. And then here, of course, is our low volume profile event right down there into 31/22. It could move all the way down into that zone. You want to be pretty careful right there. With the YM, this one, really take a look at this. This is October's collapse down into that space. And now here we are in this region. Now, what does a chart normally show us? It normally shows us time where we come into this low volume area and we build on it a little bit. That's really what I expect to see today. What we do notice is this level right around here. I'm going to put it right there, right on the edge of this volume event. This level ought to be price rejection, meaning we should come into this zone and bounce. And let's see what we do from there. We could be very choppy into the FOMC release. That's always a possibility. This is very steep upward motion, um, but it's also a little bit weak at this juncture. So my thought is buying the breakout only if you're looking directly at the next target. Wait for the pullback, try the breakout there, and just so long as it gets up and over 26,140, you're in good shape to potentially see higher levels. If it can't get up and stay up over there, we've got ourselves a little bit of a fade, and that fade runs into these areas of low volume. We're going to see that price rejection here and price acceptance right around this area. So we'll be watching for old resistance, which is right over here, to get tested as new support. That is my specific thought about that. Let's take a look at oil. Still looks like a mosh pit, folks, but losing downward heat. So I suspect where we are is at the end of the road in terms of saying, hey, listen, I don't know that we're going to dip any further. But I mean, didn't you? I said that last week. So obviously, when I make a supposition and I'm trading, I say to myself, all right, what's going to prove me wrong? Well, the most obvious thing that's going to prove me wrong is that I'm going to come into 6150 and I'm going to lose it. And if I lose 6150, it's going to take me all the way back to 6130 and then 6117 and then all the way down maybe even to 6053, another important zone. So That's what I want to look for. Right now, it tells me, hey, listen, you want to give it a shot, you can buy here, but you better sell once it gets to 62 because that's all I'm seeing. I am seeing sellers all the way into 62.04, even as buyers try to hold this area right here. And if I continue to make lower highs, I must assume that lower lows are going to hold. Right now, I'm still hitting lower lows, I'm just not holding them. I'm still bouncing up. That's why we could take the long there with a very tight stop. Lastly, let's take a look at gold. This is a lot of support, right? We have an auction vacuum down at this 1220-ish area, right? I've got an alert set there. Um, and so this is showing potential bounce action. Now, again, it's potential. We're sitting underneath this space. We have a very wide formation here of support. So I'm still making lower lows and lower highs, particularly my candlestick bodies. I've got to stop that from occurring. Really, that's what's got to happen before I end up thinking about taking any longs. It's not that I can stop it, of course. So I'll be watching that really very, very closely. All right, that's it for us. Pullbacks, still buy zones here in this sort of very noisy, chippy space, but that's all we've got. This has been the Futures in 5.